Virginity. What is it? And what's the big deal about losing it? Let me cut to the chase. Virginity is a completely made-up concept. It's a term that was created simply to control and shame people, mainly women.
What's up, YouTube? What's up, Shell Gang? All right, today we're making a response video to the Planned Parenthood video talking about virginity that's geared towards kids because most adults, but to be honest, by middle school, and especially high school, most people know the concept of virginity and understanding and say, oh, just the first time you do something and it's time to draw about sex. Because, like, come on, think about it. That's just stupid to try to break it down that small. It's like you're targeting kids. And if you're targeting kids, like, talking about like under 11, like if you're talking kids under 11, like that's fucking weird. Shouldn't be trying to talk about virginity to these people that young. Like, unless they bring it up, you shouldn't be trying to like talking to them. Unless they're hitting puberty, you should just leave them alone. Like the phrase "kid be let kids be kids" seem kind of dumb, but like let kids be kids. Like you don't gotta try to teach them stuff about sex because they're gonna be like, oh, what's sex? Oh, now they want to like, how do you do it? What is it? And then they're gonna want to try it. Because if you tell kids about certain things, they're gonna end up wanting to try it themselves. That's why you just should, like, when we talk about kids about sex, we be vague. We don't tell them details. It's like, oh, a man puts love inside a woman and a baby is made. No one say, oh, a man inserts his penis into the female's vagina and release semen, and the semen gets attached to the egg and blah blah blah. Fertilize the egg, you got a zygote, then you have an embryo, then you have a fetus. We don't do it like that for a particular reason because we don't want kids being curious and trying to figure stuff out on their own after you give them a little bit of information. So, like, let's continue. Let's see what else she has to say about this virginity.
A virgin is someone who's never had sex, but it's not as simple as it seems. For one thing, medically, virginity isn't a real thing. In some cultures, people place a lot of importance on the hymen, a thin, fleshy tissue located at the opening of your vagina, as a marker of virginity. But the status of your hymen doesn't actually mean anything. That's because having penis and vagina sex is not the only way a hymen can stretch open. It can happen by putting something in your vagina like a tampon or a finger, riding a bike, or doing sports. So you can't tell if someone's had sex by the way their hymen looks or feels. Another reason the idea of virginity is complete nonsense is that sex means different things to different people. Generally speaking, society tends to define sex in a very narrow way: penetration, penis into vagina. But where does that definition leave queer people? Or folks who can't or don't have penis and vagina sex and choose to have oral, anal, or another type of sex instead?
Saying medically virginity isn't a real thing is kind of dumb because virginity is a social concept, not a medical concept. Like we didn't bring it up to say like doctors didn't come up with it in a doctor's office. They came up with it like in the group setting, in a social setting, like, oh, have you had sex? Have you not had sex? Okay, if you haven't had sex, you're a virgin. And that's basically what it is. You can't try to say, oh, medically, like, no, that's like a dumb argument. Like, you don't have to bring up, oh, medically, oh, doctors that come up with this. Like, it's not a medically made up. No one's talking about that. And all someone's saying is, have you got penetrated or not got penetrated? And for the people that's like not heterosexual, it's like there's like anal virginity, mouth virginity. People like say that type of stuff, oral virginity and anal virginity. People talk about those concepts too. It's not just, oh, penis and vagina is the only type of way to do it. People talk about like lesbians, gay dudes, people in the LGBT spectrum, they all understand the concept of virginity. So why are you trying to redefine it? They all understand that even though they don't do have sex with heterosexually, that they're not virgin. Like people like, oh yeah, like anal sex, oh yeah, I'm not a virgin because I'm having anal sex. Or oral sex for females that are lesbian, they'll come and say, oh yeah, oral sex or doing strap on, not a virgin. But they'll still say, oh, they're a virgin to males or they're virgin to like males and stuff like that. So like that's kind of dumb to say, like it's not a medical term. Or like bringing up the hymen, like this is America. No one talks about, oh, if you're no hymen, no diamond like that. That's more of like a outside the Western society that people say, oh, your hymen makes you a virgin. When in America, it's just if you had sex or not. Like that's all they ask. Like, do you have sex? Oh no, then you're not then you're a virgin. No one's like trying to make it more complicated. I think they're trying to like teach this to kids when they're younger, so as they grow up, they try to change what the new normal is. So if you because it's hard to change the new normal for adults because like me, other adults are like, oh yeah, this is virginity. You're not like, why are you arguing? Like then they'll try to say, oh no, this is virginity. But since we can't reach adults, we can't change their mind. Let's bring this concept down to children. And like this whole is like a classroom environment. Like some of the stuff don't even seem like it's like it seems like it's geared towards grade school students. And that's weird. Like that's weird.
And not everyone's first sexual experience is consensual, meaning that they were forced or pressured into having sex. There is also a double standard on who carries the burden of virginity. Society puts pressure on men for not having sex at the exact same time they shame women for having it. Make it make sense. Either way, shame has no place in someone's personal decisions about sex. It's time to throw away the notion of losing your virginity. What if instead of losing something, we reframe it as gaining? Because the truth is, when we make our own decision to become sexually active, we aren't setting ourselves up to lose anything at all. We hope we are gaining things like intimacy, self-insight, pleasure, and empowerment. All of these myths around sex and virginity can be so hurtful and overwhelming. But here's the one truth you should remember. Sex is defined by one thing and one thing only: you. Maybe that's being fingered for the first time. Maybe it's having anal sex. Maybe it's having your first orgasm. Maybe it's masturbating for the first time, or when you enthusiastically consent to sex. That's the beauty of your sexual journey. You're in charge, and you can figure it out on your own terms. Choosing to have sex, when, what kind, where, who with, is something that only you get to define.
When you see someone dressed like that and looking like that, you already know their views about sex and stuff like that. They're probably gonna have like a weird, not normal view about sex, and she displayed it. Like all this stuff you said that virginity was or was it like everybody had like we all know this. Like society have come to terms with it. Like at least 8% of people like understand like oh this is what it is. This is what it's not. You don't have to try to like redefine it and redo it because when you do it like that, it seems like you're trying to get kids to say talk about virginity and sex differently so you could get them more sexually active at a younger age. Like why like at that age we shouldn't be having that conversation with them unless they bring it up because like that'll be like, oh, was this new concept that I'm learning about? Oh, I'm interested about it. What how do you do it? Like just like let kids be kids, man. Like, stop trying to make all these weird things put in my kids. Like, if you come up with this new weird concept about how you want to define virginity and stuff like that, that could be you. Don't try to say, "Oh yeah, but this is how everyone else should define virginity." Like, no, society, like everyone in society knows how they define virginity. They know how society defines virginity, and now you're trying to come up with a new concept so you could like so you could gear it towards kids and change everything out so you could make them like less of a stigma around sex. I believe we need some shame like in society. We need a like we should like thought culture, whole culture, like that shit is gonna be the detriment of our society. And we need to shame people that's like having men and women. We should shame men and women because none of us should be players or hoes. Like that's not a good thing. That is not good at all for a society. That's like you can't build a strong society if we have weak family units. And the family unit is the basis of our society. And try to redefine sex with these like liberal feminist view is gonna be what ruins society because America could only be ruined from within. But hey yo, I'm out.
And we're out of here like a screaming herd of turtles.